Well, good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to Nature Echoes. This is Tuesday, 5th of September, 2023. And again, it's our weekly time of echoing news, stories, poetry, and art, and connecting this to nature folklore and our precious water, holy wells, woodlands, hedges, and wildlife. Though today, we're going to be a little bit focused on something a little bit different. But even so, it's lovely to have you here. I see people are coming on already. So hail, hail, whole, and holy good health to you all that are with us now and will be and even watching later. Now, through this edition, I'm going to see if I got my pictures working. There we go. That isn't the one I want. I want the headliner. It's not coming up. There we go. Through this edition, it's a chat about truth, facts, and folklore. It's just something that seems to have got into conversation a lot more during this past week, especially. So I thought I'd chat about that. So please be generous. I'm going to be shorter than usual, I would think, today, because I haven't really been exploring much for this, but I hope you'll find this very interesting. So please be generous with your comments, your opinions, your questions, and because I'm a lot less prepared, I won't be broadcasting with you as long as I was saying. But this Nature Echoes live, plus the growing nature folklore videos, the articles, the photo libraries, and my course modules as well, they're all brought to you due to the support of our kind subscribers. And that's the my usual trying to point to the link there. There we go, got the finger in the right direction. And there's a free subscription level. And I plant at least 40 free articles there. They come in the forms of series. And if you upgrade to become a support subscriber, that includes my course of 20 course modules each year. And you can join at any time because this is an evolving course. It's €5 a month, or go for the 50% discount of 30 euros in your own currency. So thank you, support subscribers, because it's your support is why I'm still here broadcasting. And with that show survival pledge sorted out, I see people are coming in and saying hello. Let's see who the early birds are. We got Cliff Carr. Lovely to see you back, Cliff. Hello. Yeah, it doesn't seem that long. And Cliff's got a new album out, which I haven't featured yet, which is very embarrassing. I'm going to find some excuses, certainly, as we get more into the autumn, to include what he's been saying, which is a bit different to what we have featured before, but that's what you do with albums. You come up with something different. So fantastic there, Cliff. And Josie Posey's here. Lovely day, John, and lovely. I trust it's a lovely day wherever you are, Josie. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much. So, subjects. First one, this is pretty serious stuff, and I'll lighten up as we go along. I'm going to be talking about Pip Sheridan. Some of you may know, certainly Josie, you might well know him, familiar with him. It might be irrelevant to people who might be tuning in from outside of Ireland, but I think the story of Pip is something that should be happening everywhere, or certainly paying attention. Especially, we've had the Burning Man in the news. There's an issue, similar issue going on there this year that's quite unique. I'll say about that later. But for several years, it seems to be forever following Pip's adventures. A lovely man, as I say. And he's been going around festival sites. Let's get a picture of Pip. Anyway, let's get some pictures of him going, give you some idea of who he is. I think this is it here. This is something. There he is. That's an oldish picture. He's been going around festival sites rescuing dumped tents, blankets, useful things that are disgustingly left behind at festivals. And that's sort of getting worse and worse, as you know. And what he does, he's been clearing them up, taking them home, cleaning them up, making them like new, and making them handy. All this stuff that's been done, making it handy for other people to use. And for several years from doing this, Pip was incredibly generous. He was devotedly sacrificing his entire life to collecting all this dump stuff at festivals. And then he'd take his van full of all this stuff over to the poor people, the refugee sites over in Calais. I think I've got a little bit of photography of this here. There's him loading up his van from a festival site there. And this is the sort of thing he's applied to. These are scenes from refugee sites in Calais. And so this is where he was helping out, devoted, no payment. He'd sometimes have little fundraisers to get a bit of money so he could do this. But eventually came to a point where Pip realized that he was actually leaving no life for himself. He had a daughter on the way at that time, so he wouldn't need it. He wanted family time. And so how could he pay for his van that he was taking over? Because there was all the diesel costs and so forth. And there's a picture of his van there. And that looks as if he's at the electric picnic, which I'll be talking about as well. So what Pip started to do is, rather than take it all over to Calais, I don't know if he kept something arranged for feeding there, but he decided to start actually selling the tents locally. So he cleaned up the tents. He also picked up chairs, picnic chairs, tables, blankets, all kinds of stuff. He cleaned them all up and he started selling them to people around Ireland at very low prices. And he would go around with his van and he'd deliver them door to door. But he also stopped in various areas to trade stuff. There's not much showing there, but I imagine outside of the photograph there, you'll see some of the stuff that he was trading. And then he realized, as he was not covering his time and costs, he actually started learning how to become a bit more business-like. So he put his prices up a bit, and then he started marketing with an absolutely perfect business name. His business name is Found in a Field, because that's what he does. He picks all this stuff up from festival sites, which are supposed to be environmental friendly and so forth, but bullshit. You know what it's like. As I say, sheer bit of brilliance, I think, with his business name there. But after a while, Pip did discover that he was still spending a fortune going around the country with his van load of stuff. People would order online. And of course, he loved meeting the people. People loved meeting Pip, but he realized that there was no profit. He was just spending the stuff on the van, breaking it. It was breaking down, so forth. So he actually discovered that our wonderful National Post Office, the Ampost, they had ample services to get his tents, seats, tables everywhere around the country. So you get the stuff by post now, and you don't see him. But all the time, what he's doing is recycling all the stuff that people ridiculously dumped at festivals. He was rescuing it, giving everything a second life, putting an amazing amount of, and of course, the description of some of the stuff that you found in the tent, you think, who on earth would do this? But as I say, he tends to be very sacrificial. And his Found in a Field is actually becoming extremely popular now. And because of the increasing income, especially with all these festivals since COVID, all this extra money is coming in. So he's actually paid for a bigger van. He now employs staff. So he's given people opportunity to join in with this. He's not a man that is interested in wealth at all. And here he is, he's with his daughter there, having a bit of fun stuff there by some railway line there. And but he's as I say, he's no interest in wealth, but he recognizes the opportunities, and this is stuff that shouldn't be dumped. He deals with it, shares with it, and it's just good old-fashioned community-style businessman. That's what he is. But as Ireland's just hosted this weekend, we got fabulous weather. The Electric Picnic, which is like very much like Ireland's Glastonbury Festival. It's just grown and grown and grown. They had beautiful weather weekend. So, as usual at this time of the year, he's there at the end of it to pick up some other dump stuff and do his usual thing. But what Pip's found out, because of how popular his service is, he can't just hop over fences to rescue the rubbish tents at the Electric Picnic. The fences are higher anywhere. And he can't go up to the gates and ask people nicely at the gates who, used to be very welcoming to him. Someone come along to take away their debris and get it reused? Why not? Come on in, Pip. No, didn't have any of that this year. Electric Picnic, if you know anything about it, I don't know, Glastonbury, I suppose, had these intense, but the idea of the Electric Picnic was looking at the other festivals around the country and thinking how awful it is with all the dumping and the electricity, blah, blah, blah. Let's do something that's a bit more sustainable. So Electric Picnic started off with a vision of being a sustainable, environmentally friendly festival, leave no trace behind. So they extended from having music on stages to presenting environmental and alternative health and alternative living things that people could come along to and learn. But they seem to have lost all that. And even this year, Electric Picnic, they actually went no cash allowed. Everything is, you can only pay by card or your phone apps and so forth. So total change. And there's a large waste management company, Panda, that's now got the contract to clear it after the festival. It's a very firm contract. And they've now got the exclusive contract to clear up the Electric Picnic. Stradbally in County Laois is where it is. And nobody else is allowed into the site to clear anything, not even a van load for Pip anymore. So Pip cannot get in there this year to do his normal, very useful thing. But all Panda's going to do, they're going into the site, they just shovel up the stuff, fill up their trucks, everything gets crushed. Some of the rubbish gets, well, it isn't rubbish. It wouldn't have been if they let Pip in, but some of it's sent to landfills, some of it's sent to incinerators. And, you know, behind the scenes, there's a lot of money changing hands. So I'm not going to go any further on that, just in case someone tries to sue me. But this year, as I say, Electric Picnic became cashless, which was odd. Cash was banned. And I'm now wondering, why is anybody bothering with that festival? Anyway, people watching this in Ireland, Pip actually needs a hand. I think I've got another Pip. There he is. This is a typical another Pip situation when he's relaxed. He's got his spaniel pet there, which he's had for several years. Anyway, he needs a hand, as I say. And I'm going to play part of a video he's just brought out today. And at the end, I'll post the email address in case you can't catch it. I'm not going to do the entire video, but I'm going to give you a sense of what he's asking for. He's asking for, really, for people to get onto the County Laois County to point out how ridiculous it is with all the rubbish just going, it isn't rubbish, you know, all this tents and stuff which shouldn't have been left behind, that it should be of access if anybody wants to do anything with it, to get it all reused. But no, it's to stop it being dumping. Anyway, I'll play a portion of his video. I didn't have a chance to extract it and put it up separately. So I'm going to play this direct from the Facebook. I hope it works for you. And in fact, I better get my headphones on for this one to see where we're going to go with this. So give me a second, because I haven't rigged up my headphones so I can kind of cue this in for you. And I just hope my headphones work. If they don't, I'll improvise. Anyway, I'll just get my BD headphones in for this, and we'll have a bit of the video. As I say, I'm playing this direct from Facebook. I've only done this once before, and it only part works. So here we go. This works. Here we'll add this to the stream, and let's see if it goes. Let's try this. Right, how does it work? I'm supposed to get this to work. Let's see, is it working? No. I know what I need to do. Hold on a second. We're going to go. Here we go.
As usual, there's a lot of anger about domestic campsites. As usual, I am banned from taking any pictures or from entering the campsite. However, all my tricks, I've shaved off my beard, gone in as a woman before. All my tricks are now known to security and I cannot get in. Now, what we're looking at here is the event management plan for Electric Picnic. This is free for anybody, anyone who's living on this island. This is public knowledge in Laois County Council. And there's a very, very helpful lady there, unlike the management of Electric Picnic. Very helpful. And any complaints, if you're upset about any of the footage you see, I haven't been able to do anything this year. I've just got old stuff from last year. But if you're upset with anything you're seeing online here, and you'd like to Picnic Banter Group or anyone else, please direct all your complaints to scraig@laoiscountycouncil.ie. Stephen Craig is the environment.
There you go. I'm putting that on. So you might, very important, Steve S. Craig at laoiscountycouncil.ie. And I'll put that on at the end anyway to continue.
Environmental officer who handles all complaints about abuse of the environment in Laois County Council. Our taxes are paying Stephen Craig to do his job, but maybe he's just a bit misinformed. So let's see what we can do. And there is the panda one. I had this before. Recovery. All the dry recyclables are going here to Ballymount Road. Ballymount, Dublin 22. Mixed municipal waste is going to Tala. But the one I'm really interested in is what dry recyclables, all those tents are dry recyclables, but they become mixed municipal waste when they're brand new tents. I'd love to find that out from a personnel in Panda. This is the up-to-date waste management plan that they have. Now I have a picture of their big claws keeping up having it to one go. Nothing's getting separated at all. So this paper is another heap of lies, and I just think everybody should be aware of it. Now, I would have been quiet if they let me collect tents today, but they didn't.
I'll leave it at that. And let's see if I can get that. Actually worked quite well, didn't it? So say that was Pip Sheridan, who normally gets hold of some of the tents from the Stradbally site. Electric Picnic cleans them up, and some go to Cali, some go to refugees, and some he sells. A lot of them he sells, and people are so thrilled to get them. So I'll put if you didn't get that email down, I'll put it on at the end of the show. And as I mentioned earlier, I've been reading the Burning Man Festival in Nevada, who was another festival that was, Leave Without a Trace. They've had that awful mud and desperation with the weather. And it's a whole different crowd that's been going there this year. A lot of criticism of being open to everyone. It's got very elitist, and it's going to be a trash dump site. I don't know if that's just because of the weather or just because of the new people that's coming there. Just dump everything. Oh, it's nothing. They're not worried about money and so forth. So it isn't just here in Ireland. This is an example everywhere to encourage that if people want to recycle the stuff, everybody wants tents and outdoor stuff, especially in Ireland now. We've suddenly got our second summer. But another thing that's in the news is the Stradbally County Laois sites. Also, is at the moment that Panda's been in there and cleared everything, it's going to immediately convert into a tent city for Ukrainian refugees. And I just hope they're not going to be there for the winter. It's anything to do with accommodation and refugees, as you know, it's a mess. But this is Nature Echo, so I won't go any further with that. And we've had a lot of lovely people check in here, which is absolutely fabulous. I just want to get rid of that. I'm not going to show that again. Anyway, yeah, I think I think we're fine. Here we got it. Gary's here, Gary Brannigan. Hello, everybody. He says, fantastic. We got Wendy, who's actually got a heat wave there in the Netherlands as well. Lovely picture behind you there, John. Thank you very much. That's the sort of background to the logo that I had earlier. Let's see if I can show that logo up again. See if I can get back to it, just for those who missed it. I don't know what's. Let's get back. Right, okay, there we go. That's not what I want, but get me back on. There we go. And I'm going to get that logo. I'm going to try and get that logo back again. There we go, just to show off again. There we go. There's logo there. There we go, Wendy. That's the full logo there. In case, and for anybody else who missed it. So that's what the background has been part of. All right, let's get ready for the next bit. We got Wayne Bird here. I see Wayne Bird. We'll say hello to Wayne. There you go. Hello, hope, and hello to everyone. Hope everybody's fantastic there. I think I've covered sort of relevant things. That's fantastic. Thanks for people that's joining. I see, and thank you for the hearts and all of the support you're giving to me so far. The lighting's weird. I hope I'm not too dark for you and not weird, too weird looking. Anyway, let's get on with another echo. Again, it's a bit of a serious one again. Truth, fact, or folklore? And this is something that comes up more and more, and people, and Gary will reflect on this, you know, is the groups are very much bringing in the two words truth and facts. It's almost like 50% of the language on social media is kind of truth and facts. There we go. Let's bring that up. Do they mix well? As I say, on social media, more and more postings are using those words, truth and facts. And they're doing that, it seems, as part of their intent to make their post get more attention, maybe, or perhaps present a value of authenticity. I don't know. You have to be a psychologist to really understand that a bit better. And that's not what I am. I'm just a keyboard warrior psychologist. But by social media, I'm thinking of the big platforms, Facebook, the weirdo X that we've now got, YouTube. And Instagram seems to be going down that rabbit hole lately. I'm not a big Instagram person, but when I look, I go, oh, God, is this what it's come to? And there's other platforms I don't bother about. I gather Telegram's probably full of it. And then there's another one, which I'm not even going to mention. But fortunately, my favorite, Substack, it doesn't seem to have caught this bug yet. And for a while, before the extreme social media beliefs, it was Bible. Before the social media, it was Bible tracts, wasn't it, that was thrown in front of us? Stuff like this. And truth is in the word. So that was how we used to be told what the truth was all about. And for certainly a long time during my young years, many of your young years too, the churches and temples of religion took over what was taught at schools. And I suppose that's a familiar memory with a lot of people. And it's as if schools were trying to clone us. I used to bring this up often through my entire schooling. I used to really argue the hell out of this one. I used to get so annoyed with it right from a young age. And because of that, I've certainly got a lot of beatings, detentions, and attempted humiliations in front of class and even in the entire school. You know, it's almost like the prisoner, you know. I am not a number, I'm a human being. So I was pretty much doing that I am not a clone of this education system. Whack, 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 you know, and then it brought in front of the school as if I was a complete idiot. And I remember an instant, it was when I was 9 years old. I think I was 9. And I was walking home with a couple of friends, a couple of school friends, boy and a couple of girls, I think it was. We didn't need transport in those days. You either would walk to school or you might have had your bicycle. There certainly wasn't the school buses. There wasn't the parents didn't have to run and pick you up. And as we were going along, one of the girls actually twisted her ankle. So what I did, one of the school playground games is we used to do jousting where people would get on your shoulder and you go running. The person on the bottom was the horse and the person on the top jousting. So I lifted her up to go around my neck like we did with the jousting. And I was a pretty strong lad then, I think. And my intent was just to carry her home, very innocent, because as I was lifting her up and to put her legs around my neck, the headmistress of the school then drove by and gave a very scowling look. Instead, you know, she just drove past with this scowling look instead of stopping and offering to take the girl home herself. Next morning, she had me in front of the school assembly. I was at the front, brought out to the front, and she was just furious and trying to shame me as if I was being a sex offender and using me as a warning of others not to engage in such sin as I was doing the evening before. And I suppose that's the way it was, religion in schools and the interpretations of it. that you just have to be stiff and untouchable type of thing. And this is one of the fears I actually got of this fast invading AI services. Because to me, all of this, the whole schooling system, and even the way the AI is going, and people say, oh, get used to it, this is the way it is. To me, it's all about filtering and standardization of everything. And that's not very good for nature folklore, really. And it brings me back to memories of what the church seemed to do upon our human culture. Especially, this is one that's quite famous, is the forcing of indigenous cultures. They've kind of been filtered and cloned in this example here to be brought into the so-called system. I didn't give much time to prepare for this echo. Just wanted to make a point about it. So far, I've not presented the most friendly echoes on Nature Echoes so far today. So it's one of the reasons I'm keeping today short anyway. But I have titled this Truth, Fact and Folklore, and do they mix up well? Something like this. Anyway, to me, the one thing that schooling, college, and now the onslaught of GAI or whatever it is this constant standardization and filtering. And even the foundation of Christianity. You've got Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, the three characters. Can't even put three fingers up. There we go. There are three fingers. And I feel that those three, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, they're a huge filtration from what was a larger family, and lots of wonderful deeds would have been known locally, but in order it was standardized, it simplified, easy to clone, easy to repeat. You notice that in political, certainly in North America, that Mr. Number 45 is very good at this. That instead of giving speeches, just take 3 words and get people to chant them, and they'll chant it over and over again. People can remember 3 words and say them over again, and that chant is obviously short for enchanting, and that's how you get a mob together. And I suppose Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. So you got 3, you can do a chant with that. So to me, what I vision is that cultural filtration and standardization, what this knocks out is what I feel is essential apprenticeship. And this is where the folklore comes in. To me, this is what folklore is about. It's part of apprenticeship. Now with folklore, we got beautiful stories with folklore, and they set up for wonder. And then I'm glad to get the compliments of people that enjoy what I share through the articles on Substack, and obviously in some of these Nature Echoes and former Nature Folklore sessions. And those stories and visions, often they're expressed as poetry. And we express our visions in poetry, in music, and through our sculpture, painting, and craft. And the folklore does weave into our apprenticeship as we learn and improve our crafts and our deeds and how we work out problems and get through things. Because we are human, we've got hands, we can make things. This is what we do. And often I find it's folklore that drives our apprenticeship, as the folklore, especially in the nature folklore that I deal with, it talks about our weather. It's folklore behind the materials we use on our tools, the wood, the metals, the stones, all these things that we use to get things done. All these materials, they have incredible folklore, and even the folklore of these mystical tools. And so sometimes we imagine when we've got our tools are all sort of full of magic and full of mysticism, how that's going to boost our attitude to our apprenticeship must be one of the fantastic benefits. So we have an amazing alchemy of what we put together in order. It's not just for poetry and art, it's all about what we put together to feed ourselves, shelter ourselves, and also to try and sustain our health as well. To me, facts don't heed to any of this. I don't pay any heed to when people start talking of facts. Oh no, because I think the whole concept of facts is total nonsense. But facts are part of this enforced filtration and standardization process. But the thing is, I find what people lean on as facts, it fails. because what we might call is a secure fact today is fiction tomorrow, just because of the ebb and flow of energies and circumstances. I suppose it can be useful. This is real. I suppose fact and real is different. If we're having a nice meal, that is real. It's a real fact that I'm enjoying this meal. I can accept that thing, but that meal's going to be a memory tomorrow. And you try and describe it, you're probably coming out with some sort of poetry. So the facts have gone. You're into fiction. So truth, I feel, can never come from words. Absolutely impossible. So truth. I think we've got to consider, and I often bring this up, is before humans had words, we had our senses. We've always had our senses. All the animals and birds and insects, they all have their senses. But we managed to create from prompts a configuration of symbols that we join together, make sounds, and form communication, talk to people, and write in poetry, blah, blah. And then from senses, I suppose we moved on to libraries. And libraries, are beautiful as they are, people love books, the smell, and it's all our senses. We love the smell, touch, and by reading all those visions we get. But in many ways, I feel that libraries have replaced our senses. This is something that I also campaigned about when I was a child. Why do I have to read these books? What's wrong with our senses? Slip, bang, 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 because I would prefer senses to what was written in the books. But nowadays, I suppose Google searching and YouTube has replaced our use of libraries. And now, give us another couple of years, we might find the AI services, the information side of AI will replace a whole lot, certainly replace our Googling maybe. And then what happens with all civilization structures when they come together and get ordered and become cloned? What do? They build up and then they collapse and they just all return to dust. And looking at the folklore and the mythology side of this, when you're actually putting together a cloning situation, there's actually not much water involved. Certainly water is involved in making the materials, such as you couldn't have books, you couldn't have book paper without water being involved. Also, the manufacture of computer servers with data, there is water involved in that. But in the actual use, it's all water free, and eventually I feel it's going to turn to dust. And that's more or less a sort of mythology story in itself. But I think folklore is a lot about returning to our senses, and then our senses going through our hands, which is how we apprentice a way of applying ourselves to life and doing things. And we do this with the guidance of others who have been through the similar experiences before, and they can demonstrate and mentor what they've done. So it all becomes apprenticeship. It all becomes very close, local community, and it's a lot of sustainability and continuity with that, I believe. So poetry and art is what we use to share what we sense, and all that, of course, is incredibly beautiful as well. So I think that's as much as I'm going to say on that one. It was just a throw-in echo I put in today just because of my reaction. And Cliff Carr partially knows there's some stuff going on Cliff Carr's on his profile on Facebook that went into that a little bit as well. But that wasn't the only one. It's pretty popular today. And we got Melody Smith. Hello, Melody Smith. Andrew saying hello here. And we got Sean Whitfield, who's in here from Essex as well, which is fabulous. Wonderful. Thanks for joining me today on this Tuesday, whenever it is on your time. And as I was talking about language and previous to our language, and we got Andrew Rosewood, who's kind of just joined on here for the last few minutes, which is fabulous. Always lovely to see people, even if they appear in the last minute, because you can always, this gets instantly archived and you can watch from the beginning and spin past the things you think, oh, that's a load of bullshit. Never mind, open prompts. So from what I've just been talking about, using our senses and using that as an apprenticeship rather than being clothed, It's a reminder that I've now changed the name of Journaling Nature Folklore to Owen Prompts. And I'm not going to explain that now. I tried to explain why during last Tuesday's Nature Echoes. And I did bring out part one of the first of the autumn prompts for the donating support subscribers on Substack. I should get the part two, the final part, out this evening, I hope. But I announced in that, and the part one, I explained why I have changed over from the Journaling Nature Folklore title to Owen Prompts. And this first one of the autumn, the fall set of the Owen Prompts, I actually go into something very different again. So there's two controversies, one about the Owen Prompts and why I'm doing that. And the second one is actually the matching of common buckthorn to Moon. Moon in the Omer is Moon the vine. And some people say, oh, that's wine, that's grapes, that's rose, wild rose, honeysuckle has been put into that. But I go into the matching because it's called Moon. Why Moon? And how it's been translated back and then forward into the common buckthorn, also known as the purging buckthorn. There's a link you can read more there, of course, more plugging nature folklore substack.com. Where you can subscribe, and this is all on the course level that helps this show and related projects. So I'm a bit like Pip Sheridan with this, although I'm a long way from his devoted service. He's hands-on with something, but I suppose the approach is the same. It's just to help to cover the costs each month and try to stay ahead of this because of the limited resources that I try and live on. But the free subscribers, I've now started with the Elle Housewife series. That's probably going to go on quite a while. I started off with a bit of the ancient origins in part one of that, which was up on Sunday. Part two, I'm trying to get out for next Sunday at least. You're going to have more ancient origins because there was stuff I forgot that I didn't get up in the part one. So we should get out Persia with that one, certainly along the Silk Road and amongst the Syrians as well, and hopefully get into the origins in Egypt and how that changed from being kind of a feminine, away from the wives and into where the men took over the brewing. But what happened to that? So it might be a couple of weeks before I actually get into Europe and into the UK and into Ireland with that story, when we really start getting into a bit of witchery. But before we get into the ancient origins of witchery, I think I'll leave it that. So really, that's as much as I could. So it is over half an hour. It's amazing how the time goes. Cliff, thank you very much. Great show tonight. Ended up being scrutinized for expressing from observance threads. I'm glad you made that post. Don't worry about it, Cliff. It was a very good post, as I've messaged you as well. We need more of that. We need more of what went on with yours, rather than people being cloned and saying cloned and being filtered to just say yes, no. You go a lot of the comments, people are saying yes, no, that's cool, because they're really scared to speak up. I think in social media, I know we talk of the freedom of speech, and some people, when they do express themselves, it's just feck this, feck that, and you're an asshole. That time. No, I'm not talking to that. It's great to bring out an opinion. What is it in your life that has brought about that opinion? What's the personal experiences? So it's nice if the comments include a little bit of story of why you're saying what you're doing, which is great because it means people can learn from that, even though they might not agree. That's my opinion on it. Anyway, Cliff, thank you very much. Thank you. Andrew Rosewood says, thank you for sharing. Look forward to catching up after the move to Tennessee and being in a new time zone. Yes, I hope I won't change that. And Wayne, thanks for a great talk. Thank you very much. And Melody as well. Thank you as well. So I think it leaves me There won't be any Nature Echoes next Tuesday. I'm going to be with my son and daughter, Holly and Ivy. They're actually twins, boy and girl twins. They're both 47 years old now. But they're going to be with me for a few days as over the next weekend and beyond. I'm going to be back with more on Nature Echoes on Tuesday, 19th of September. So be back with me then. Sorry, I'm not going to be with you next Tuesday, but it's nigh impossible. Thank you for watching Nature Echoes this evening. But still a little bit more to share. Some of you might say, well, why don't I bring Holly and Ivy on live with Nature Echoes? Because we're going to be in the middle of nowhere somewhere, so there won't be any signal. I won't have the equipment to do that. Anyway, if you enjoy what we share here live and through the Nature Folklore channels, there's the subscription. Also, wonderful talk there. There it is again as a reminder. Subscribe there. The free subscription is now started with the Ale House Wives, and you'll get series with 40, at least 40. Wendy's come up with something here. Here we go. Very interesting thought about the absence of water in technology and its lack of life. Yeah, that's what I believe. You think of the formation of civilizations. I'm thinking of the conversations that I had with indigenous people in various states, like in Utah, in Arizona, where Mexico, New Mexico. And it was funny, they all had stories. And when I'd asked about their background, I kind of expected them to be nomadic. I said, no, we came here after a civilized bunch of people had been and gone. And they were full of these stories of how indigenous people had got great ideas and organized themselves. And they built these cities. And of course, what happened was the cities became deserts. The whole water thing sort of disappeared. Everything crumbled. Roman Empire. This goes through history, doesn't it? Everything. You eliminate the water, you eliminate the she, you eliminate the spirit. What you got left? Dust. It just all falls into dust. And that's folklore in itself. And that's pretty much on topic for what I've been talking about. They're very cryptic, I suppose, and very deep, but that's what it is. But thank you for coming up with that one as well, Wendy. Right, if you upgrade to become a support subscriber, all the information is there. And you'll get my What's Now the Old Prompts course, 20 modules a year at least with that. And I hope to get the seasonal online workshops going, both online, actually and offline where possible, probably in unison with the lovely Loch Rinn Hotel, a lovely country house hotel down the road from where I live. Wonderful grounds, perfect for that. But for subscribing, €5 a month or the 50% discount, €30 a year or whatever it is in your currency, and that keeps the show on the road. So thank you very much, support subscribers, and it goes a long way to really help things out. So is there anybody I've missed? Yeah, Wendy's agreeing with the water life flow. Now, I think I thank you. I've enjoyed sharing this with you, and it's been fun to see who's been with us with the Nature Echo and who will be watching later. And if you're watching this as a replay, keep your comments and questions posted. I'll answer them as soon as I can because I do check often. No, I had nobody from YouTube because I didn't actually promote this episode through the YouTube access channels, places like Meetup and or Substack and various others where I promote people to the YouTube. That's why we've had no YouTube people today. But if you are coming in through YouTube, remember there's a bell there to tell you what's coming up in the following week. So enjoy a safe week full of wonder, inspirations, enchantments, all that comes from the presence of water, especially the woods and the mysteries of nature. And I think that's all I've got for you today. Until next Sunday, just wish you a great time, play well, and technical. And, we've had a technical great time without technical stuff, and technical stuff is starting to happen this very moment. With that, with the successful session so far, I wish you a wonderful week. I'll see you in 2 Tuesdays' time. Enjoy the glorious time. Thanks. Thank you. Bye. Bye. I think that's it. Bye.